Hey everyone, guess what? We're here with someone new. Robert. He's from Overt
What's up?
Enemy. Army. What is wrong with me? I guess I was reading something about the army a little while ago.
You know, we've had
Whatever.
we've had Overt Enema. We've had Overt Enemy also, which is I guess that's maybe a sea creature or something like that. It's pretty interesting. So
Yeah,
first
that's pretty
first
wild.
Overt Army, but I like it.
Yeah, I was literally like I got a little whiteboard right here and I was looking at it to get I saw Overt Enemy and I was looking for the album title Insurrection. And I don't know how the fuck Army came out, but it came out.
Dude,
So
I'd say we could use that for the fan club, but I think Gene Simmons would probably sue the shit out of us, so that's probably not a good idea.
no, because as long as you don't call it Kiss Army, right? I think you'd be all right.
Maybe. Who knows?
Who knows?
He's got a litigious sensibility.
Yeah, that he does. So funny. You're right. We were just talking about Planet Desert Rock Weekend. Jason Walker, who plays in Gene Simmons' solo band, did he put some guys together and they did Bad Motorfinger in its entirety Sunday
Whoa,
night.
that's a great album. That's so cool.
Yeah, they fucking nailed it too. It
Nice.
was absolutely awesome. So enough about them. What about you? Um, you guys started in what, 2013, right?
Yeah, we've been it's kind of funny. So when you meet your friends, like your real friends, like the ones you meet when you're like 20 something years old, and you have like that handful of friends that you have like for the rest of your life. That's basically like everybody that's, in the band. So we've always I've known these guys for, with the exception of Saul, our drummer, but I've known Leo and Laura for 25 years this year. Crazy to think that, like, basically since they were like high school sweethearts, like kind of thing. And I was at their wedding, that kind of stuff. So we've always been in each other's lives and in bands and stuff like that. But yeah, they started Overt Enemy back in 2013 when Jeff Hanneman died from Slayer for like a one-off tribute show, and then it kind of stuck. People here love fucking Slayer, as everyone does, I think, on planet Earth and other dimensions. And I think I joined the band like, I don't know, like 10 years ago or something like that. So a couple years in, and then we kind of shifted to start doing more original stuff. And yeah, that's we've been around for a while, man, doing our
That,
own thing.
yeah, I mean that's cool. Obviously it looked like you guys put out a couple of EPs, and then if I remember correctly, and please correct me if I'm wrong, it sounds like you guys were working on doing an EP and the world shut down, so you shifted from EP to doing the full
To
length,
doing a full
which
length, yeah.
turned out to be what, Insurrection, right?
Yeah, that's spot on. So we put out EP1, which is Inception, in 2018, and then we had other songs written for that, but we didn't. They weren't quite finished, and we also didn't have time and budget and stuff. And so we ended up putting out a second EP, Possession, in 2019, and then we were going to do Insurrection. By the way, we thought of the title Insurrection before anybody else. Like, we had that because they're all rhymes, right?
Yeah.
Inception, Possession, Insurrection. Like, we mapped out like five or six of them, that we're going to do like in succession. And we were the initial plan was to kind of follow what I think we read an interview with Down, and they were talking about how they were just going to do EPs from now on. That way fans could get music more often, and stuff like that. And that seemed like a pretty good idea to us, at the time. And so we started putting out the first two EPs and kind of doing some PR, and stuff like that. And one thing that we found though was everybody was like, "Oh, this is a really cool EP," but when are they going to put out a full length album? It was like, it doesn't matter unless you like whatever it is, it doesn't matter unless you have that full length record. And so we were like, COVID happened and all that stuff, and we had more time and way too much time actually, because it's been a freaking long time. These songs feel really old to us, like we love them, but you know, it's been a while.
Yeah,
Uh, so yeah, so it became a full length release. It's not a Metallica style 75-minute super bloated epic record. It's like, and don't get me wrong, I love Metallica, huge fan, but it's we're like more like what would Slayer do, like 30 minutes of you know
yeah.
yeah,
Punch you
so
in the dick.
yeah, pretty much, yeah, or whatever, yeah, whatever, yeah, parts you got, yeah, right there.
Yeah,
uh and yeah, that's it, man. 10 songs of the best metal we can possibly, come up with right now. And then we're writing a whole bunch of new shit, which if you like, I know you said like Doom and Stoner, and we like all that kind of stuff too. So we've got other songs that we're working on that are, at the end of the day, it's just us, dude. It's the music we make. And if people dig it, great. And some people are going to be like, whoa, I really like that one because it was like that, and that
yeah.
kind of thing. That's what makes art fun, right?
Well, I think, that's the unique thing about being in a band, or the thing that I always like to see bands do is do music for the band, not
Yeah.
for anyone else, because you start getting in there and going, well, what are the fans like, or what are the critics like, or what is whoever like, and you really lose honestly all originality, because
Mhm.
you're really honing it towards, well, they really like this album from this band, we're gonna go that way. Fuck that.
Well,
Like,
and there's a lot of alt trends and stuff like that. Like I was true story. So Spirit Box is in the media a lot, right now because of the Grammys and stuff like that. And I'd never actually intentionally sat down, and I need to listen more, to the back catalog and stuff. But I was driving with my wife today for about an hour, and I was like, you know what? I'm going to throw on Spirit Box on Spotify just in the background. And when it got to Holy Roller, I remembered hearing that on Liquid Metal, like because it was like in rotation and stuff like that. But anyway, the I thought I saw something like metalcore. Like I skipped like the whole metalcore thing. Like literally, I feel like I have like a decade and a half of missing time because
yeah,
I was working and had a family and stuff like that. And it's basically like when Chimera and Lamb of God and everybody was like touring together. Like right after that, like there's a whole bunch of shit I missed, like Kill Switch and all those bands. So that's an ongoing joke between me and our merch lord Matt. I'm always asking, is that metalcore? Like, like what is
yeah.
it? So like all the MySpace bands, like all that stuff, like I missed. I was just not paying attention, to things at that time. But anyway, long story long, I digress. So I was listening to Spirit Box, and for about probably a good 45 minutes, right, on this drive home, and we finally got in back into town, and I heard Holy Roller, and I was like, okay, I'll turn that one up because I knew that song. But then I was just like, man, the metalcore is just not my thing. And I'm like, Siri, play Fear Factory. You know what I mean? And instantly felt like way better about life, so um I think it's you, I don't know. You're not probably not going to see us putting out any metalcore stuff, I guess, is what I'm telling you.
Whatever, dude. Do what
Yeah,
feels
yeah.
right
I
to
mean, we're
you.
more like thrash and death metal and like Black Sabbath and like the old school shit, and the new school stuff too. But yeah, I don't know. It's weird, man. Trying to. I was talking with somebody. We did an interview, I think, for I think it's Scriptorum magazine, which is a really cool like indie metal magazine. For the kids that are watching, we used to have these things back in the day made out of trees called magazines. Okay, and that's the only place that we could find out about cool shit. So we have one from Texas that's actually shipped all over, I guess, the United States, maybe even internationally, called Scriptorum. So shout out to Alex from Scriptorum magazine. Anyway, we had like a full page interview in there, and one of the questions was, how do we like, because Slayer is like such a big part of who we are as a band, because we were a Slayer tribute band. Like, how do
Yeah.
we separate that, or how do we like not? And it's like we're equally influenced by all the other big influences that we have, Pantera, Sepultura, Fear Factory, and probably like 20 other bands, that we could name. So um, I don't know. It's hard, I think, in the modern era to be the quote unquote original band. I don't think I've heard one. You know what I mean?
Mm.
Like, everybody's got a piece of somebody. Like, we're all like we're literally all like mutts. Right?
Well, yeah, but
Like,
like
all the
I
band,
think, you know, when it comes to that, you're absolutely right. It's really hard to like have your own sound when
Mhm.
someone listens to you and they're not like, oh, that sounds like this or sounds like that. But I tell you, there is one band out there. This band, like, absolutely, it's boggling because you listen to them and you can't
You're
pick
like, that's that
anything out.
band. That's kind of like how I feel like about like Gojira. Like
Yes.
they I don't, is that who you're talking about?
No.
No, who are you
Uh,
talking about?
this band is Nest.
Nest. Okay, I'm gonna have to check them out.
So Nest is John Jarvis, formerly of Pig Destroyer, Agoraphobic Nosebleed,
Oh,
and
cool. Okay.
Scour.
Yeah. Okay.
Um, it's his, and
I like that new Scour album, man.
oh, wait till you hear the
Dude.
whole album. It is fucking phenomenal.
Oh, I bet, yeah, you probably got early access to it, right?
Yeah.
Media and stuff.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
just interviewed Adam Jarvis about that, and it's
Right.
like I'm I'm fucking stoked for that. Like it is such a like good, just solid album, man.
Well, at the end of the day, I think that's like what we're striving for, right? Like, long story long, with the that interview, I guess what I compared us making music to is like, in Texas, we all barbecue. Like, literally, you
Yeah.
got an entire state of quote unquote pit masters, right? From competition guys to like guys that just make a brisket a few times a year, for the family and that kind of thing. And everybody in Texas makes brisket pretty much the same. It's usually like post oak and salt and pepper,
Yeah.
but some of it's fucking incredible and some of it is like not great or not good at all, and so we're just trying to make the best brisket we possibly can, you know what I'm saying, like, and we may throw in something here or there, that makes it a little bit different or whatever, but yeah, I don't know that we're gonna like start throwing in polka, maybe a polka beat, or something. You never
Listen, you
know.
want to be
We're
fucking
in
different?
Tejano land here, man. So you
You
never know. We
like
might have an accordion on a record one day.
you want to be different? Call Weird Al. Hey, dude, you want to be on our fucking
Yeah,
heavy
right.
record? He'll be
Yeah,
out there.
I think kind of like the connection to like the old school bands, without trying, like, we're not trying to sound like an 80s pizza thrash band. Like, that's
Sure.
not our deal. Like, we don't want to sound like Municipal Waste. No disrespect to Municipal Waste, or our
Right.
brothers Belushi Speedball, who are ripping off Municipal Waste.
Yeah.
Like, but that's their thing, right? That's what they do. We're not trying to like be Slayer 2.0, it's like we're trying to just be us. And so that's why on the new record, everybody does vocals. There's different styles of, I mean,
Not, it looks like not everyone. I think three of the four of you do vocals. Not
yeah, well,
Saul.
Saul just shouts at us in the back if we get off time or something like that. But
So
yeah,
he's part of the gang
his
vocals.
part, yeah, actually, he has what he recorded vocals on the album. Absolutely, yeah,
All right.
he got some big gang vocal parts, and stuff like that. And yeah, he's on there for
Yeah,
sure.
for sure. So, like out of the tracks on Insurrection, is there one that stands out to you more than like anything else?
Oh man, that's really hard because without giving too much away either, right? Because we want people to like kind of be surprised. So like when you think about like the first songs that we've put out as singles, like Eradication, for example, and The Truth were the first two singles that we put out. They really feature Laura Slayerella, our bassist, very prominently, right? And that was a big deal for us because Laura can sing. I mean, she's like here at our local college, like they'll have her come sing the national anthem like every year, that kind of
Oh
thing.
yeah.
So she's super talented. Like she was in band when she was in high school, all of that stuff. Whereas we're, a bunch of Cro-Magnon, guitar players, trying to, so yeah, but for the longest time, we've had it in our head, like, hey, man, like we got to get Laura like on some songs, and stuff like that, and not switch to like, hey, she's now the front person or whatever. But I was telling Leo for a long time, like, hey, dude, like, what if we all traded off like Wu-Tang or Beastie Boys? I love hip hop, I love or Biohazard, like I love bands that have that dynamic or
Yeah.
Kiss, Kiss is one too, where there's, or the Beatles, and that adds a lot of extra unique flavor, to the music and stuff like that, in my opinion anyways. So I think The Truth was I don't remember if that was the last song we recorded. It may have been, or it may have been the first one where we got her on vocals. It's one of those two things, and the other guys would correct me on it, but it was very much a goading her to get in the studio like with a hot poker, and then she just rips ass like, why? And we're like, whoa, shit, like
Yeah.
you can do that. We knew it. You've been holding out on us, all these years. So yeah, I think those are definitely standout ones. There's some other songs on there that are, not thrash songs. They're more groove metal oriented, like Resonated. I think people are gonna fucking love Resonated when that one. Yeah, you love
Yeah.
that song. Okay,
I
cool.
do.
Yeah, so people are like, I remember when we wrote that song, like I exactly how it went down and everything. It was crazy. So that song, Even Murder. I mean, like you're really just like I love all the songs on the record, man. I like
Right.
honestly, like I'm not saying it's a 10 or whatever, it's a 10 to us. But I think it fucking slaps like the whole fucking record end to end. I think there's 10 really, really solid songs. Like if you like Pantera, you like Slayer, you like Machine Head, you like Fear Factory, you like, any of the bands like that we grew up with, like I think
Listen,
you'll
I'm
have
gonna
it
tell you
in.
this, and I
Yeah.
don't know if you'll like this or not, but like Resonate really like the drums have a real like Lamb of God feel to them.
Yeah. I mean,
Like
that's just what went with it. You know what I mean? It's
yeah,
yeah, so yeah, I mean, we love Lamb of God too, but I wouldn't necessarily call like Lamb of God like an influence per se though. You know what I mean? It just
right.
happens like dude, the weird part about metal, we were talking to my drummer Soul and I were talking about this on the way to a show one day. Um he's like, man, he goes, man, you guitar players are lucky. And I was like, why? And he says, well, because like you guys basically have like infinite possibilities. Me being a metal drummer, it's like, okay, what beats go? And it's really the order of, and I mean, you can do some certain things, but at the end of the day, kind of drums are drums in this genre. You know what I mean? It's like, okay, there's four blasts, there's carpet rolls, there's all. I'm starting to learn the different, names of drum beats, and stuff like that. And I was like, oh yeah, that's kind of true. So yeah, I mean, probably sound there's a ish, part or here or there, or, whatever. And we actually would reference something like if we're writing together, be like, no, yeah, do kind of like a a Vinnie Paul beat, on
Oh
there. Or,
yeah,
hey, play that one like Igor would play it, and that kind of thing. So I think it's really more throwing out like drummers versus the band, I guess, if
sure.
that makes sense. But anyway.
I could see that, but if we, I mean, I guess I kind of see a drummer's perspective in that, but like, let's look at, metal drummers. Like, who is the most unique drummer you can think of currently in metal today?
Mm. As a guitarist, I mean, Gojira's drummer is
Mario. Yeah.
Mario is the fucking man. Like, so Mario, I really can't wait to hear what Eloy does with Slipknot.
Simple. Oh, dude. Yeah.
Yeah, now that he's in Slipknot, that's really exciting to me. Um, and I'm a big fan of Brian from Mastodon.
Yep.
So,
So
like
you
those
just
are
named three very different drummers,
right,
and they
totally
do
different
not
drum style.
sound like anyone else. They
Right.
all sound just like themselves.
Right. Yeah. Which is kind of like guitar players with like tone, you know what I mean?
Oh
Where
yeah.
and I feel that way about uh hmm,
That's a
man.
good one.
Yeah, yeah, no, for sure. Uh Gene Hoglan is like that too, right? That's another one, right? Where it's
Yeah,
like instantly, identifiable. So yeah, yeah. I mean, again, it's metal, man. It's all metal. It's like we're kind of playing with the same cookbook, and it's like, well, I can make eggs way fucking better than you, bro. Kind
yeah,
of thing, right?
for sure. I
Um,
just learned about Gene Hoglan that I think I don't know if he wrote all of it, but he wrote a lot of like the Dark Angel shit.
yeah, yeah. I've heard that too. Yeah, that's like his. He's like one of the main guys, like in that band and stuff like that. So
Yeah, he like grabs a guitar and writes the fucking songs. Like, what?
yeah, it's like, hey, oh, or like does the riffs and then turns it over to a guitar player who can play guitar as good as he plays drums. That kind of
No,
thing.
he
Yeah.
like he can play guitar.
Yeah.
Like,
Oh, that's cool.
yeah,
Well, it wouldn't surprise me, dude. Our Leo, our guitar player, is a monster drummer.
so wild.
Yeah, like a lot of the drum parts for this record, um, at least the general idea, it was like he would show Saul, and then poor Saul, he got in the band, and we were like, hey, dude, here's 10 songs. They're already written. We've got some basic ideas on what we're thinking, for the drums, but we want you to come up with all your own drum parts. But we've got to get in the studio in like 30 days, kind of thing. And he nailed it, man. He rocked it out. So yeah, if you're comparing him to, or the drum stuff to like Chris Adler, dude, I mean, high praise, dude. Thank you, man. That's
Yeah,
awesome.
yeah, for sure. Well, Chris is bad, and of course, the new, Lamb of God's writing new music, so I'm super, I'm pretty
I never,
excited to
I forget what the new drummer's name is.
Art Cruz.
Art Cruz. That's right. Yeah, he's really good too. Yeah,
He is,
yeah.
he is, dude. His girlfriend likes my Crocs too.
Oh, there you go.
They're, it's
Nice.
so they're so stupid. Like
Oh,
they're
that's cool.
Nightmare Before Christmas
Uh,
Crocs. Yeah, like I bought them. We were going on Headbangers Boat last year, and there's a Croc store right on the beach. So I was like, oh, we'll just, someone was like, let's go look. I'm like, all right. I saw those. I was like, well, shit. If I'm going to be a Croc guy, that's what I'm wearing, and I fucking wore them all week. They were
that's pretty sick.
so comfortable. Holy shit.
Yeah, I wear Croc flip flops.
Oh
Same. Yeah,
yeah.
they're super comfortable. The same thing, Yeah.
Yeah, it's so
If
it's
you
like
know,
so
you know. Yeah. If you
right.
know, you know. Yeah. It's very
I
true.
made fun of so many people for wearing Crocs, and here I am, a fucking Croc guy now. Like, ah, shit.
You asked me standout songs. If I were to name like another one off the record, it would be "Bleed Like I Do."
Okay.
That song is the next single actually that's going to come out. I think like in March or something like that. and that one has Marcos Leal on guest vocals,
From
um,
Shattered Sun.
from Shattered Sun and Swim the Current and X Il Nino or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's a good friend and actually lives about 2 hours from here in Alice, Texas. So yeah, he's part of the South Texas family and everything. And yeah, that song is pretty cool too.
Oh yeah. So obviously, it's been a minute. This being like the first full length too. Like, do you guys have goals or thresholds you'd like to see once it gets released?
Yeah, sure. So we're kind of a weird DIY kind of band, man, because we can't because of careers and families and stuff, like we really can't like tour extensively like and grind it out like on the road like if we were 20 years old and didn't have mortgage payments and stuff like that.
Yeah,
So and I know you feel me on that, right? We're basically always just trying to do the next bigger, better thing, whatever that is, whatever God presents us with. Like, hey, here's an opportunity. Here's how you guys could move the ball forward. Of course, Leo and I are both in sales in by profession, so we're very kind of stats oriented. You are too, right? So
yeah,
I can't help it that I'm built that way, and so whatever the number is, I'm always like, I want to inch up, inch up. Like I remember when I joined the band, we had like maybe 200 followers on Facebook. You know what I mean? And it was like, okay, can we get to 1,000? Can we get to 2,000? Can we get to five? Can we get to 10? Now we're playing that same freaking game with Spotify. We just crossed 1,000 Spotify monthly listeners, which is a big deal for us. We're like,
for
whoa,
sure.
that's cool. And then we read something the other day about like 90% of artists on Spotify have like less than 50 plays or something like that, or some really like ridiculous statistic. And we're like, whoa, well, I guess we're doing okay, but there's not like a manifest destiny. It's really just like, let's keep putting one foot in front of the other one and keep marching forward, no matter if the rain, sleet, or snow, whatever. And eventually you end up somewhere that you weren't before. And if you enjoy the journey,
Yeah,
then that's what really matters, right? And so yeah, I mean, that has kind of led us down the path of, getting to play with some of our heroes and things like that, and making some really good friends all across the world. Even though we haven't been able to play internationally, you know what I mean? We're shipping merch all over Earth, which is trippy to me. I send, by the way, if you order anything from us at overtenemy.com, we've got CDs, vinyl, shirts, da 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 da. I hand ship all that stuff. So I'm sending packages to like Nepal and France and all over Europe. And I mean, dude, that's tripped out, man. It's
yeah. It's
so cool. It really is. Like, so we really do this just because we love it. Like we would be doing the same thing even if we weren't doing it in the way that we're doing it, just because we like hanging out, playing music, writing,
sure.
drinking beer, barbecuing, and you know, amusing
It's
ourselves.
it, it's really come a long way. Like everything is at our fingertips now. And we know that. I mean, I don't know how old you are.
I'm 43. I was born in 80.
Okay. I'm 48. So like back in
Okay.
our day,
Yeah.
right? A lot of tape trading. Like
Sure. Yeah.
you needed the photocopied zine to land at your doorstep to find out what the next band you were going to listen to was. And to have everything at our fingertips now, like on the computer, literally you can find a band in the backwoods of Kentucky or,
Hmm.
mainland China that
Yeah.
absolutely blows your fucking mind. And it's fantastic for music fans because you can, find literally anything you want. You want a black metal band with some bluegrass overtones, you can find that shit.
Sure. Yeah. You could search it too and find it, which is super. It's not just stumbling on it.
Yeah.
right? Like, I remember I used to go to, we had a store here called Hastings back in the day. And I would, man, my wife is like, dude, imagine if you'd bought stock with all those CDs that you would go buy every paycheck. Cause I'd walk out with like a stack of like 8, 10, CDs and stuff. And I used to pick up, I'd love running across those compilation albums like Relapse Records would put out like the Contaminated series and stuff like
Yeah.
that, dude. And that's where I discovered Mastodon and Pig Destroyer and Agoraphobic Nosebleed and like all kinds of like crazy grindcore and other bands and stuff just by random. Or when they would you'd buy a magazine like Metal Hammer or whatever, and it would have a CD on the
Oh
front.
yeah.
And you could discover bands that way and that kind of thing. So um it's cool having all the tools, but it's super daunting at the same time because it's like you're in an ocean where everybody's got the same shit, and now it's just like, okay, how good at using these tools can you be, right? And having to not just like write music and maybe be entertaining on stage and showing up on time and all of those things that are typical. That's like that, but then you've got to know all of the music business stuff, right? You've got to be tech savvy. You've got to
Yeah, a little bit.
yeah, I mean, tech savvy enough to be able to navigate social media and all of that. And I set up like I remember researching e-commerce solutions for my own band. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yep.
so, like it just depends on what you want to do or whatever. But, yeah,
It's absolutely,
it,
it's tough, right? And I can absolutely
it's like
see
having
how,
a small business, or it is having a small business. It really is. Just it's
yeah.
something you love and that's super kind of fun to do, and that kind of thing. So,
I think that's where a lot of bands miss out is they don't understand that a band is a business to actually run, you know. You do have to find a way to make it profitable, or maybe it's not profitable but not lose 10, 12, $15,000 a year doing shit with the band.
yeah, yeah. Like our philosophy is break even and grow.
Yeah.
That's the philosophy, is break even and grow. Like literally every dime that's spent by anybody on merch, or if we make something at a gig or whatever, that all goes right back into the band to invest in whatever the next thing is that we're going to do. Like we started, I remember when I joined the band, we got a vinyl banner printed and we had one t-shirt. And it's like you know in the popular culture, flipping certain items. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? So we did. It was like, let's go sell these 20 shirts, and then now we can buy more. Oh, now we can have two, and that kind of thing. And then, and then eventually sometimes you're just like, okay, we need to level up. And so we've got to invest personally, and chip in to make other things happen. Gear and, so on and so forth, dude. Like, it's like
Yeah.
having a boat. I tell my friends at work, like, I don't play golf. I don't play golf. I have friends that play golf. They fly airplanes, or they do other cool things. They go fishing. They have a boat, or whatever. I'm like, nah. We get in a room twice a week, sweat our ass off, play speed metal, scream, try to write songs that we don't think suck, and once in a while we go um, beat people over the head with that in person,
Yeah.
and then we try to sell some shirts.
Yeah.
Stuff too at the same time, so
You
it's
know, and
fun.
it's funny. I was talking to one guy and he said, I'm not in a, what do you say? My the band itself doesn't make money. What we are is we're t-shirt salesmen.
Yeah, I think I saw somebody from Lamb of God actually said that too. That's kind of like the prevailing thing, is like,
Yeah.
yeah, we're all just merch salespeople. Uh, that's it.
Yeah. it,
I mean, if you want to generate revenue, now I mean, I've got some friends of mine that just put out music online, and that's all they do. You know, or
sure.
like they're not really they're not trying to sell a CD or anything to go along with it. They just like, hey, I like writing songs. I put it up on DistroKid or whatever, and it's out there. And if people stumble across it, cool, and that kind of thing. So to each
Yeah,
their own, whatever works.
that's exactly it, right? Like, and there's no wrong way to play music. Like, if you just want to play music in your garage, awesome. If you want to play and release on vinyl or just digitally or whatever, like that's cool too. Say hello. Hi.
Hey, cool cat. What's your cat's name?
Her name is Sophia.
Sophia. Okay,
Yeah.
cool.
This is this is her and I time. Anytime I come
Oh
to interview,
yeah.
she like literally lays right next to me, and once in a while she'll like pop up like, "Hey,
There you
who's
go.
on there?" I'm like,
Got to be in
all
the
right.
podcast. Love it. Oh,
Yeah.
it's your co-host, Sophia.
Yeah.
That's
My co-host Sophia. Right?
But yeah. I mean, it's an interesting time, man. I mean, we have all these tools, and AI is a whole thing that is going to have massive impacts on like every industry, and it seems like companies are figuring out more and more ways to make things easier but less economically viable for
Yeah.
creators. But as a creator at the same time, I love the idea of having better tools. Like if I can just like I just finished editing a new video for our song Insurrection, which is the title song, off of our album. And uh, you know, I've been learning different video editing applications and things like that. And, you can go from like Adobe stuff, which is like ridiculously complicated. Like if you've never jacked around with Photoshop or Final Cut, or any of these apps, like,
Yeah.
and then you go to like CapCut, and it's like all you got to do is import and hit go, and it does something cool. And for 98% of the population, that's good enough,
Yep.
so yeah, it's an interesting time to be doing what we're doing, for
Oh
sure.
yeah. When I started this, it was like I did that. Like, okay, what am I going to use to edit? And I
Hmm.
probably went through like three programs, and I'm like, fuck this. I ended up hiring someone to just edit my first few episodes while I like figured out shit.
Yeah,
And now I'm like, I'm not even gonna fucking edit. Like, I'll, I'll edit some things here and there, but
right.
predominantly I'm like, I'll just fucking put it out.
Believe it. Yeah,
Who
but it's more
cares?
authentic that way too, you know.
Yeah.
So
People see the bullshit like, oh, haha.
it's real. Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
Yeah.
main thing is at least have good lighting. Get your at least so you can see, the person,
Yeah.
and everything. So
Yeah. Sometimes it's just like a talking shadow. You're like, what's going on here? I don't know.
I won't lie though, like as somebody who's like primarily like I would say musician first, right? I didn't aspire to be a content creator, you
Yeah.
know, or whatever. Like,
Surprise.
yeah, it's like I get the advertising and marketing necessity, and all that stuff, but yeah, it's like I went through we listened to all the music media, music marketing podcasts we can wrap our grubby little hands on, like shout out to Heavy Business, and also to Bacon's Bits too. Learn a lot from both of those.
Yeah.
And
Hold on. Heavy Business is Curtis Dewar
it's
and Justin Roth.
yeah, yeah, and Justin, yeah, they have that podcast, and then our friend Matt Bacon, he's got Bacon's Bits, which is really good as well. And then there's a bunch of others, and of course that dude. The other thing that I'm gonna go on a rant for a second. You know what sucks about being in a band? Everybody wants your money.
Yep.
It is crazy. Like most people like have probably heard like the old axiom, like your parents said, don't be a musician, you'll never eat, right? Or whatever. And I don't think anything has changed like throughout history. I think it's always been like that, right? So that's nothing new. Um, but the amount of people that are trying to sell you a product or service to capitalize on the dream that you have of trying
Yep.
to aspire to be something greater than where you're at is one. And that's okay, right? Because everybody's trying to sell a product or service or whatever. And then there's the fucking scammers, bro. Like we get these emails like, hey, so like a record thing or some, whatever, like just all kind. And once in a while, like I'll hit up like Justin, for example, from Workers. I'm like, dude, hey, I just got this text. Like, that seems really cool. And he's like, bro, that's a fucking scam, dude. Are you serious? You know what I
Yeah.
mean? So, uh, I mean, everybody is literally trying to screw over artists, and
Yep.
man, does that suck. I mean, from venues to, and not all venues, and not everybody, there's not everybody's a shark, and there's a lot of really great people, that are out there that are just, they're just trying to make it, just like everybody else is. But man, there's some
Yeah. I think,
undisputed pieces of crap floating around, or like graphic designers. We had one guy reach out to us. He's like, hey, I'm from wherever, and I have, and we use a graphic designer named Diego Guidos de Souza or something like that. He's awesome, and he's like from Portugal, I think, or something like that. But he reached out to us and introduced himself. Here's my portfolio. He's prospecting, right? You get
yeah.
that. Game recognized game, right? And we're like, okay, sweet. Now we have this relationship, right? And he works with Hatebreed and all these other big bands and stuff. And but we had somebody else do something similar, reached out, and they had some cool designs, and I didn't vet it. I was just like, well, that one's cool, sure, $100, fine, buy it. Dude, it was totally like somebody else's art that they had just changed a few things.
Oh shit.
And so we put the shirt up online, and somebody in the comments, everybody's like, and boom, I'm like, oh shit, for real? That was somebody else's freaking, like, somebody swiped their artwork, and stuff like that. I think AI is going to make that even worse, because it's like you can just generate images like on demand that's
Yeah.
based on, other
Well,
stuff. So,
I think a lot of times with AI, it has no soul, it doesn't
right.
like translate real well. And I get some bands are into it and some bands aren't. Of course, I'm a traditional guy in that aspect. I prefer to have someone who, even if they sit down digitally and draw it on the iPad or whatever, like I much prefer that to, some computer generating some image that I kind of described randomly or whatever that is. And that, those scams, they transcend industries.
Mm,
So my job is I'm a realtor,
mm.
and I can't tell you how many phone calls or emails I get every day. Are you looking for more leads? Pay
Oh
this
yeah.
for this. And you're like, come on, man. Like, get
You're
the
like,
fuck
yeah,
out of
yeah,
here.
looking for more leads, but damn.
Yeah.
It's crazy, yeah. No, for real, dude. It's and we're not, I'm not afraid of like AI. Like I'm really stoked about like the workflow possibilities like that better tools afford. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like I love great presets in software. If I can just click a button and things are 90% of the way where they need to be, like on a drum, on a mix, or a drum part, or whatever, like on an EQ preset, get me started, get me in the wheelhouse, and then we can jack with it, from there. That's awesome. Or like spell check or grammar check and
Oh,
a
yeah.
document. You know what I mean? And having better tools that can do that stuff. But um, I can see the graphic artists in particular, but I mean even the music stuff too. It's we struggled for years trying to figure out how to do like write like with we all would always read articles about our heroes, like Max from Soulfly would be like, yeah, I did this demo and I did it with the drum machine, or whatever. And so we're like trying to figure out like, okay, what drum machine do we need? Like, what is the thing that we need
Yeah.
when the drummer can't be there to be able to write, more effectively? Because that's like what you're looking for, right? Finally, we got like superior drummer, and we can like, oh, okay, we can drag and drop a groove, you know. That's pretty helpful, to be able to do that. And then, of course, we don't use that like in the final composition or whatever, but it's just to keep time and play along with and have fun and stuff. Um, I don't know about being able to just like talk to the computer and saying, hey, I'm writing a song that is like a Beatles song, so I need Ringo drums, yeah, on here, or whatever, and
Yeah.
it just does it. Mm, you know, mm,
Yeah. I mean, we're not far from it,
yeah,
right? I'm sure it's probably already in development somewhere. Um, I hope, I hope for musicians' sake that something happens and it doesn't like come to fruition. But the reality is it will probably be here before we know it. So we really just need to find the artists who are actually playing the instruments and doing
yeah.
that stuff and support those guys.
I agree. Yeah. Yeah, 100%. We haven't been able to figure out how to do. None of us play keyboards or anything, and so like we're that's we don't have a whole lot of like synth, in our music. A little bit,
Yeah,
here there that our producer Josh, we're like, hey, dude, can you add a keyboard part here? And he's like, okay, like that, and we're like, yeah, make it kind of sound. Maybe he's like our AI. We're like
he's your AI.
Widowmaker GPT or something like that, I
Yeah,
guess. Which kind of the
that's
same thing, I guess, in a way, if you think about it, right? Because like if you and I are in a band and we're trying to collaborate on something, and I was like, yeah, do it like this. And sometimes band guys, we talk to each other in gibberish,
yep.
which I don't know if you've ever experienced that before, but it's very much like a, hey, go like da 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 puto, 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 like
Yeah.
what, and it's like, oh, okay, and then all of a sudden you got ticka 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 ticka
Yeah.
ticka, and like we communicate like morons,
Like, yeah, like fucking cavemen, dude.
dude, yes, it's very
Yeah,
true, like in grunts and guttural noises and like weird sounds, and make it go,
yeah. Need a good squeal. What's a squeal? You're like, oh shit, okay, I got you.
Yeah, or the other funny one is really abstract terms. That's too dark. Can you make it sweeter? And we're talking about sound. Yeah.
So my
I don't even
favorite
know what the fuck we're
is
talking about, dude, but I'm having a good time. So
I was talking with there's this band, Seventh Son. They're kind of, international. They all live in
yeah,
different places. So I'm talking to them, and this dude's like, I love how when we make the sound, it's all these different colors. Like everything for him was visual.
right. Yeah.
I'm like, I fucking love
Yeah.
that.
Tripped out, right? Yeah. I read a
Like,
book
oh,
one I read a book one time about visual mixing. And what was really neat, it described like, imagine sound in a 3D space, and then each instrument was represented by a three-dimensional geometric object, like a triangle or a square or a, um, a sphere, or something like that. So imagine
yeah,
like your kick drum is a bigger sphere, and then it's got a certain color, and it's like here, and then you're, to kind of 3D map out like how a mix should sound. And I was like, wow, that's really interesting if you're a visual person, if you can visualize stuff like that.
yeah. I mean, it's, obviously everyone has a different way of like looking at the music, but to be able to visualize that and like, translate like in colors, holy shit.
Mm-hmm. Isn't that the beauty of like think of humanity, is like we all have different brains and different perspectives, and all of our experience colors the way that we see and perceive, the world that we're in, and maybe even
Yeah.
what we ate today might, you know,
Yeah.
I have you ever gone back and heard a song that you hadn't heard in a long time and it sounds different than when you heard it the first time?
Hell yeah, it has.
And sometimes you hear things you didn't hear before, or it just sounds, I don't know, it's funny. It's the way that works.
It is. It's so weird. And like, not even just a song, but like a memory. You're
Yeah,
like, man, I remember this one time we did blah 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 blah. And like a week later, you're hanging out with someone and they're like, man, you remember that time we did this and this and this? And you're like, I don't remember it that way, like at all.
right. Well, that's kind of like that Mandela effect, right? Like certain people are like, I remember a version of the movie Shazam with Sinbad, and everybody's like, no, that it was Shaq
Yeah. Yeah.
or whatever.
Well,
Uh,
our who was it? Ed O'Neill in Publishers Clearinghouse.
yeah.
Was it Ed O'Neill?
Wow,
No,
that would
that,
be that's a crazy one because it was the dude from the Tonight Show.
yeah.
Yeah,
But
but Ed
if you,
O'Neill was Al Bundy,
yeah. But
right?
I was, that's, I
Dude, that
said,
would be hilarious though. Can you imagine Al Bundy doing a Publishers Clearinghouse commercial?
so I fucked up on the Ed O'Neill thing, but it was the dude from the Tonight Show. And if you Google it, he was never part of the Publishers Clearinghouse marketing at all. That dude,
Are you serious?
100%.
Dude, I swear to God, I remember that.
So do I. So does like, I would say most people our age.
No way. I
Yeah.
hold on, I
You're
gotta
gonna Google that shit.
Google it, dude. I don't believe it.
What was what was that dude's name? It was Ed something. It's so funny.
So Publishers Clearinghouse spokesperson list.
What was that dude's name?
Uh, well, I Googled it and right away a picture came up.
Hmm.
Ed McMahon is the name you're looking for.
That is exactly it. Yeah.
Many people believe comedian Ed McMahon worked for Publishers Clearinghouse. He didn't, but it's all part of a Mandela effect. No way.
Yeah.
So is this an AI photo? Uh, Dude, wow. Okay. Mind blown.
Like
Multiverse. That's the
like
only answer. There's a multiverse.
it's it's so stupid because he was on the
I
fucking
saw
commercials.
commercials
Yeah.
on TV. Yes,
Yeah.
you're right. Huh. Weird.
So wild. Okay. So for all you old people out there, this is what our life has
This we
become.
want to hear in the comments about was Ed McMahon on Publishers Clearinghouse or not. You got to weigh in on that.
Yes. Way in. God, how old do you have to be to go
We're
from music to
talking
Ed
about
McMahon?
extreme metal to like obscure 80s TV lore is what we're talking about. Yeah.
Oh fuck. That's so fucking funny. It's probably 40. 40 is the age.
Yeah, well, yeah. So it is. So my wife is 82. I'm 80. And there's this. We're like like you're Gen X firmly, and my wife and I are like that Gen X
On the cusp.
millennial cusp. Right there in that transition period. So I saw a video on TikTok the other day, and it was like something like Gen X raised on hose water and neglect.
Yeah.
Yeah. Something kids can relate to, just be like, yeah, we were on our own, running around.
We
Yeah,
were. We were like, I think we were right in that era, like 70s, 80s, probably mid 70s on, where our parents were, we had two working
they were both
parents,
working. Yeah, right. Yeah.
you know? So
Mhm.
what'd you do? You came home to maybe an older brother or sister, or you're, 9 or 10 years old, going home by yourself and just waiting for someone to get home and make food or whatever that looks like.
Right.
Or
Yeah.
you're
Figure
out
it
with
out.
your friends doing drugs and drinking, like, you know,
Yeah. Unfortunately.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think we had some really good guardian angels, man. We're still here, for
Luckily,
sure.
we didn't have any cameras.
Dude, indeed. You know what I wonder is what the environmental impact was of all those AOL CDs.
Oh shit.
Right.
Dude,
Yeah.
I
So-
and it
Something
makes
else, something else that anybody under probably 40 that will never understand is the first way we all got on the internet was they used to send us discs in the mail that had free minutes of internet available. Yeah.
wow, man,
Mhm.
those were the days.
Dude, we're spoiled as hell, man. Now,
Yes, yes, we are. All right, Robert, dude, thanks for taking time out of your night to
yeah,
come and chat with me.
sure. Anytime, man. Happy to come back. Thanks for, checking out our album and stuff. I assume you heard the whole thing, the
I
VR.
have, yep,
Right on, man.
a
So
couple of times.
sweet.
Yep.
So I guess you liked it and that's why I'm here. So thanks
Yes,
for
that
the support, brother.
yeah.
We appreciate it.
I I won't interview anyone I don't really like the music because I
Uh,
can't, I want it to be authentic. I can't translate that
yeah. Like,
fake,
no, man, it was trash.
Yeah. Yeah. Hey, welcome to the show. Your fucking music sucks, but let's chat. Like,
Your
oh,
snare drum sounds like a garbage can lid.
no.
Sorry, Lars. I've always wanted to talk to you. But yeah.
Uh, yeah. Give it time. You might get your chance.
Yeah, no, anytime, man. Tag us on the socials. We'll share it. Yeah, okay. Oh, did the
Cat
Sophia?
bit me.
Oh, she's trying to tell you your time is up.
No, she's like, don't take your fucking hand off of me, asshole.
Oh,
That's,
that's it. Yeah, she's a sister
yeah.
cat. Well, shout out to all of our friends and family. To Leo, Laura, and Saul, and Josh who helped us record this thing. And man, it's everybody that helps support. Overt Enemy, man. Uh, it really does take a village. Like this band is your band. Like we will be as successful as the people and the good Lord wants us to be. That's really what it all boils down to, man. So if you guys dig what we're doing, go to overtenemy.com, pick up a CD, order a vinyl. That's really meaningful when you do that. Get a shirt, stream us, share it, spread the metal, and stay blessed. Appreciate y'all.
Hell yeah, dude. Well, go and have yourself a great night.
You too, brother. You take it
Thanks,
easy.
brother. Yep.
Peace.
See ya.